Well, I was supposed to be flying today, but if we gaze upwards, we'll see those cursed things called clouds, which are preventing me from having lots of fun. Unfortunately, Compton Abyss is 800 feet above sea level, and those bad boys up there are about 2,300 feet above sea level, which is a little bit too low for us new pilots. So not going up in the air today, which is a real shame because I'm getting a little bit addicted to flying now, and I really want to get up there. Still, I've got another lesson booked tomorrow morning. Fingers crossed for that, although I've got to say the weather forecast isn't looking particularly good. So instead of not doing anything, I came back and I did about an hour on the flight simulator, just practicing some circuits, takeoffs and landings, doing all my radio checks, all my safety checks, all that kind of thing, just to keep myself up and running. And as I say, that definitely does help. As I was explained before in previous videos, it's not an ideal replica of the plane, but it's better than nothing. So after this flight sim, I thought, let's make another video, and let's just do a little bit of a chit chat on a new gadget I've got, and also the difference between a light aircraft pilot's license, which is what I'm going for, and a private pilot's license, or LAPL versus PPL. So first thing is the gadget. So if you saw my last video, and if not, why not, you'll see that I used a new data logging service called Cloud Ahoy, which was absolutely brilliant. It showed me most of my flight and all the exercises within it. So climbing turns, descending turns, going up, going down, takeoff, etc. What it didn't do is complete the entire trip because the phone's GPS failed on me. So I thought, okay, what can we do about that? So I looked at the Cloud Ahoy website, and they recommended a few options. One of which is to get an external GPS. So I've got myself a Garmin Glo 2, and here it is. I've also got this non-slip high friction mat just to hold it, and here it is. It is tiny little thing, very light. So what I do is I just pop it into here. I'm going to then chuck it onto the aircraft dashboard, and it doesn't go anywhere. Very clever stuff. However, could I get it connected to my Android phone? No. If I had hair, I would have been pulling it out. It took me ages to get it sorted. It just would not connect to Bluetooth. I mean, it just wouldn't connect. I just didn't know what was going on. So good old internet helped save the day, and had a few people recommending reprogramming Android. But then another person recommended updating the Garmin. I thought, oh, you can update these things? Well, it turns out you can. All I had to do was download the updating app on my Mac and plug in the Garmin. Lo and behold, it got updated and it worked perfectly, and now it connects properly to my phone and it works really well. I haven't done any flight lessons in it yet, but I have driven around my town just to see if it did work, and it worked beautifully, so that's great. So hopefully that's going to take care of the GPS issue we had yesterday. So moving on to differences between PPL and LAPL. Firstly, thank you to the Leicestershire Aero Club website for having all this information online. I'm going to be reading from that because there's no way I could memorize all of this information. So firstly, why did I choose to do an LAPL rather than a PPL? Well, when I first looked into flying, the LAPL just seemed to tick all of the boxes. I have no intention of flying at night time. I have no intention of flying in bad weather. I've got no real desire to fly anywhere other than the UK, maybe Europe. I hadn't even considered flying anywhere else other than Europe. So the LAPL ticked all those boxes. One thing I did worry about was instrument flying. Again, I've got no real desire to do instrument flying because if the weather's anything like this, I won't be going up. But UK being the UK, the weather is extremely changeable. And I've already talked about the horror stories of VFR pilots flying into IMC, and it's never good. So that's the only thing which kind of steered me a little bit towards PPL. But as I say, any hint of bad weather, I won't be taking up the aircraft. So LAPL seems to tick all the boxes, and the course itself was also shorter an hour, so it's a little bit cheaper too, which wasn't a massive concern for me, but it could be for some people. So pretty much everything I needed was in the LAPL. However, as I've been doing the flight training, I may be changing my mind a bit. Now, what's the main reason for that? Well, the main reason I think is going back to instrument rating. Now, on two of my lessons now, I've actually gone through the clouds, obviously with an instrument rated instructor who did the flying. And then when we emerged from those clouds, it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. It was incredible. And I would love to do that again. And I would love to take other people up and do that because it was just astonishing. I can't do that on an LAPL license, but I can on a PPL with instrument rating. Not to mention, it's not a bad idea to keep yourself current with your training. What you don't want to be doing is getting your PPL or your LAPL and then just that's it. You always want to improve, and this is something I've discovered with many things in my life, like motorcycling, or I'm always getting new training, new experiences, just to improve my riding skills. And I want to do the same with the flying license. And there's not an awful lot you can do with the LAPL after you've qualified. You can get night rating, and you can get aerobatics rating. Again, that's not even something I'd considered. Not sure whether I would. The night rating, maybe that might be quite interesting. But what you can't do is get instrument rating. That is PPL. So I'm thinking, maybe I should convert this course to a PPL. And when you look more into the PPL versus the LAPL, although the amount of hours required to get the LAPL is a lot less, actually, if it comes to taking passengers, which is one of my end goals, it's pretty much the same amount of flying time as a PPL. Because once you've got your LAPL, you still can't take passengers until you've done at least 10 hours flying solo as pilot in command, which takes up the number of hours pretty much the same as the PPL, and that's made me think. Also, with the LAPL, it's single engine piston rated only. I can never fly a twin engine, for example. Again, I'm not overly fussed about that, but it'd be nice. And I can get that rating on a PPL. So I'm thinking maybe I should think more seriously about the PPL. I don't need to decide quite yet. I'm still okay. I can still carry on as I am and then swap over to the PPL. But I need to start thinking about it seriously and deciding soon. So let's just talk about the differences between the two. I've discussed a few of them already. So again, thanks again to the Leicestershire Aero Club. So PPL allows you to fly European registered aircraft around the world. Okay, so as an LAPL, I can only do Europe, which is fine. Although that being said, I quite fancy maybe I've seen a lot of YouTube videos of pilots in America, and I thought, oh, that looks fantastic. So thinking about it, it'd be great to get a license which will allow me to take up an aircraft in America, for example. So both the LAPL and PPL allow you to fly single engine aircraft, okay, which at the moment is fine for me. But that is the only thing you can fly on a LAPL. With a PPL, I can go for multiple engine aircraft in the future if I want to. Okay, so if you get a PPL, you get a single engine piston rating is added to the license, and that's something that you need to renew every 2 years. Whereas an LAPL license, the single engine piston rating is part of the license, so you've always got it. So that's something to bear in mind, sort of cost-wise. You will need to get your rating validated every 2 years. So with the LAPL, you've got a maximum takeoff weight of 2,000 kilograms, which is quite a bit, and certainly fine for the type of flying I envision doing. Whereas the PPL, the maximum takeoff weight is 5,750 kilograms. Also, the maximum number of passengers on an LAPL is only 3. Again, that's fine for me. On PPL, it can be up to 19. So at the moment, I'm still with the LAPL. I don't need anything more than that. Okay, so medical. Being an old timer, 45 years old, I'm going to need a medical every 2 years. And that is the same with the PPL. Now, I've already had the medical. I wanted to check that was all okay before I signed up for any training because of my history of asthma. It all went through absolutely fine, and the medical examiner actually said I'd be fine for a PPL license as well. So that's fine, but my LAPL medical will not count towards a PPL. So if I do change my mind, I have to get another medical, which is fine. That's not a big problem. Okay, so additional ratings. I've already touched on that. So with LAPL, I can only get night ratings and aerobatics. Again, that's not too much of a problem. PPL, I can do multi-engine, do instrument rating, night rating, and aerobatics. Now the big one there is your instrument rating. I mean, just looking at the weather now, I can see the blue sky just peeking in between some of those clouds. So it's not a lot higher than those clouds as they are. So we could do what we did the other day and break through those clouds and have a beautiful sunny day above us. So the instrument rating, I'm thinking that's not a bad thing. So that's one thing now which is pushing me towards the PPL. In terms of amount of hours now, so to get a PPL, these are your minimum hours. Now very few people get through on the minimum. So we should be adding 10, 15, 20 more on top of this, really. So with the LAPL, you're looking at a minimum of 30 hours, of which 6 hours of that has to be solo, of which 3 hours of that is cross-country. PPL is 45 hours, of which 10 hours solo and 5 hours solo cross-country. With the cross-countries, with the LAPL, you've got to have one cross-country of 80 nautical miles, and you've got to land at one other airfield. Whereas a PPL, you have one cross-country of 150 nautical miles, and you land at 2 airfields. Okay? So there's not a huge amount of difference in what you have to do to get the license, and the number of exams and the exams themselves are exactly the same. And then if you add the extra 10 hours I'm going to need on my LAPL before I can take passengers, that brings it up to pretty much the same as the PPL, because once I've got my PPL I can take passengers straight away. So I'm not entirely sure the LAPL is going to have that many advantages. I mean, even if we look at a financial point of view, it's not going to have that many advantages over the PPL. And having those extra ratings could be very useful. Instrument ratings, especially in the UK. Night ratings, maybe, I'm sure it's a great experience. Aerobatics, not really that interested. Multi-engine, I don't know, maybe something for the future. So there we go. So how am I feeling at the moment? I'm feeling still LAPL, but I'm sure, give me a few more lessons, a few more days like this, I'm thinking maybe PPL and get instrument rated. Anyway, what do you reckon? LAPL or or PPL. Thanks for watching. So, did you like this video? If not, why not? If you did, smash that like button. And if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to press that little bell icon so you get notifications of all my new uploads. I will try and get a video done every week, if not more. Fingers crossed.